So we set out to build the film, The Wildest Dream, and we have some clips here.
George Mallory dreamed of being the first man to climb Everest. He and his fellow climber were last seen 800 feet below the summit. They were never seen alive again. 75 years after Mallory vanished, mountaineer Conrad Anker took part in an expedition looking for their bodies.
This is George Mallory.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I'm going to have this chance to go back and see what it was like for Mallory to try climbing Everest in 1924.
George Mallory and I, our two paths have intersected 75 years apart.
I know what it's like to be the wife of a climber who doesn't come home.
My dear one, I will be thinking of you as you set off for the summit.
Humans weren't meant to survive at this altitude.
Suddenly, temperatures plummet to 20 below freezing. There's no dream that mustn't be dared.
So that's the trailer. Now I'll fill in the blanks on it and try to do it justice because it hasn't aired in India. You can pick up a Blu-ray or a DVD disc. I think you can order it from Amazon or something like that and have it delivered to you. But it was this great opportunity to really create a film with an English producer and an English production company because ultimately this is an English story. And just as we can't really expect, I couldn't come to India and make a film about Indian life. It just wouldn't be accurate. And just as someone from England couldn't come to the United States and make a story about American football or the contact stuff, it wouldn't make sense. They have to have someone that really knows the story of it. And some of the best parts were the people that we brought into the project to work with it.
Aged 19, Mallory entered the University of Cambridge at a time of great cultural upheaval.
When Romano arrived in Cambridge in 1905, he pitched into this ferment and bubble of ideas, excitement, intellectual, sexual, social, secret societies. He obviously possessed some remarkable charisma, sort of charmed presence that drew the eye, compelled the gaze.
My mind is in a state of constant rebellion. I believe that will always be so.
He was a dreamer, and he was in Cambridge at a time of great and powerful dreaming. And eventually that dream took its form in the shape of Everest.
So we set out with our period clothing, and that was a lot of it was from the same manufacturers that were there in 1924, and they were very happy to oblige our expedition and provide the kit for it, which was pretty interesting. And for that, to fill the role of Sandy Irvin, I suggested to Anthony that we think about Leo Fielding, who was a fellow that's about 15 years younger than I am. He's an avid rock climber, someone that I've known for years, and that he would really fit the role of being able to interpret Sandy Irvin really well. And so this is an introduction of Leo.
Conrad Anker has also chosen a young Englishman as his climbing partner, Leo Holding. Like Irvin, Leo is young, strong, a natural athlete, and has never climbed at high altitude. The 90 feet high second step will be a dangerous venture into the unknown.
I'm definitely concerned about the altitude and the acclimatization process, just because I've never been high enough before to know whether, I might be one of those people that it doesn't gel with.
He's
I
climbing
let
this
Conrad down, and I'm sure Irvin felt some of that pressure.
Leo's never been to altitude, this unknown. And you can't walk into a hospital and take a test that will come back and say, oh, you'll do well at altitude. Some people do really well, but I've seen fit people doubled over and with splitting headaches.
Being invited to climb the highest mountain in the world with Conrad, one of the best climbers in his generation, is such a privilege. For Irvin, being invited to climb with George Mallory, the best climber of his generation, on the unclimbed Mount Everest, I just can't imagine how he must have felt.
Yeah, this Leo, he's climbing that without a rope and his trainers and his blue jeans, so he's really strong. But this was our crew that we set out to build the film with, and we were pretty small. There was 6 of us, and then we had a Sherpa team of 6, so we're pretty small on it, and then sort of setting up our camps. We can see here in period costume, and getting the cameras out, taking pictures and all on that. It was pretty challenging.
There were no maps. No one knew the terrain there. In this first trip, the trip of 1921, it was imperative that the team find the route that would lead them to the summit.
For months, Mallory led the search, but the route to the summit eluded him. Finally, late in August, he found what he was looking for. An enormous glacial valley that snaked for miles around the other giant peaks, towards the very foot of Everest. At the end of the valley was a wall of snow and ice 1,000 feet high. It led up to a crest that Mallory named the North Col. And then on to the top of the world.
We have established our way to the summit for anyone who cares to try the highest adventure.
That's great computer graphics in there, so when you see it on the big screen, you sort of feel like you're up there and playing around it in the side of the mountain, which is pretty much a challenge. So, but the other part of the story we wanted to capture was sort of what it was like for